Hey World History, I'm going to walk you through exactly what you need to do to complete a really awesome independent study, and hopefully you will understand exactly what you need to accomplish so that you can get that A and really master this material. So the whole point of this is to pick something you are interested in. If you are a military person, I got stuff for you. If you are not really a military person, don't you worry, I have lots of stuff for you too. So the first thing you want to do is get out your requirement sheet. I'm going to walk you through it. Okay, we have 5 different options. This is a 50-point assignment, so I think the most important thing, and I'll show you this with the rubric, is I want to see that you have put 50 points of work into this and roughly 3 weeks of time. I mean, we expect it to be pretty professional looking, not just a summary, right? You're really going to analyze things. You're going to think cause and effect. That's what we're going on. So, choice 1, history through films. You get to pick one of these movies. I give you the rundown right here. In class, we went over them. Right here, you can kind of see, okay? We looked at the movie trailers. That's a good idea for you to do at home if you're deciding which movie that you'd like to watch. All of these do have an R rating. It's historical violence and some language. And so you are going to need that permission slip if you choose one of these 4. Unbroken is PG-13, so you do not need a permission slip for that one. And even though it's not rated R, don't think it's any less good than the other ones. They're all very good, very historically well done movies. All true stories except Saving Private Ryan, actually, but that is based on true events. You will see a lot of real things that happened. So, what do? Well, you watch the movie, right? That's step 1. That's not the only part of this. Here it is. After watching the movie, put yourself in the director's shoes. You want to create a trailer, a mini documentary, or a movie poster that explains the historical significance of your film. You want to show images from the film and images from historical events that are actually happening. You want to have a kind of a compare and contrast here. So if you see a battle in the film, well, research what battle actually is that and what are some of the statistics? Why did we need that battle? What's the outcome of that? You want to explain that, okay? What does this film say about World War II? How does it illustrate the history behind the event? So what this is not is a summary of the movie. Okay, you should probably have a small summary in there, but it's bigger than that, guys. You are analyzing how we see history in your movie. Okay, and that's what you're going to convey in either your poster or your mini documentary. You got a minimum of 2 minutes in length. You can use WWII Video. Every single one of you has access to this. It's free. It's basically an iMovie with cloud access. It's through your Clever portal. Play around with it. Okay, it takes a little getting used to, but once you play around with it, you'll find it's very user-friendly. You can also use another program if you have other programs you like. It's a documentary style, all right? And you do have to submit the written portion. Every project has something you're creating and something you're writing. 250 words is the minimum. That could be the script of your film that you're making, okay? I am checking for plagiarism in all projects, so please do not just copy and paste, all right? I'll probably figure it out. It'll mean a 0. Don't do it. That's not what this project is all about. This should be something you're interested in. This should be something you want to do. So if you have questions, let me know, and I'd be happy to take a look at what you have and make sure it's okay. If it's a movie poster, these should be original works of art, okay? What does that mean? That means don't just take a piece of poster board and slap on some pictures you printed out in a seminar and put 250 words of blah, 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 blah that you got on Wikipedia. Guys, that will not get you a passing grade, okay? I've got examples in my room. I don't expect them necessarily to be as artistically amazing as the ones I have hanging up. Those ones are pretty darn awesome. But I do expect it to show actual scenes of the movie, actual real scenes of history, and then your written portion, 250 words, can go on the front, can go on the back. Explain how you see history through the movie. Got it? That's option 1. Option 2, interviews. You guys, this one is getting tough. If you can do this one, you should. We are losing people from this generation very quickly. So I've actually lowered the age. It used to be higher, but if you know anyone that was at least 7 years old in 1941, that's getting hard to do. Interview them. Veteran, civilian, male, female, doesn't matter. If they're old enough to kind of remember that day and what the war experience was like, interview them. Create a podcast, an iMovie, WWII Video, but show the narration of your person's story set to pictures from the time. So you would find historical images of the things they're talking about, and you would have that as your backdrop while they are talking. Okay? Minimum of 2 minutes in length, be neat and professional looking. Or you can create a scrapbook. I got a great example to show you in class. Okay? You would have their story kind of typed in there. You would find pictures. Maybe you have pictures of them. That's really awesome. Okay? You can photocopy those pictures if you don't want the originals. That's okay. But we want to show their story through images. Okay? Ooh, that should say 250 words. I'm going to fix that. 250 words. Neat and professional looking. Okay? Written history. There's a lot of great books out there. If you are a reader, I can provide you some excerpts from The Good War. Or you could read The Book Thief, historical fiction by Marcus Zusak. It's an awesome, awesome story, you guys. It's a really great, it's fiction. It's actually narrated by death, which is a really interesting way to tell a story. So it's kind of a long read, but it's a good one. If you are a reader, you might really like that. Unbroken is a book. The book is so much better than the movie, guys. It really is. So you could use Unbroken, the book by Laura Hillenbrand. You want to summarize the reading briefly, but here's the kicker. More importantly, provide an analysis of how history is in the story. Do you see that? You see the trend here? None of these are just a summary. You're saying, okay, here's a brief summary, but here's how I can tell you. Here's the real history that I saw in this book. Here's the real history that I saw in this movie. What are your options? Pretty much the same as the other ones. You can do a movie version, WeVideo, podcast, iMovie, 2 minutes in length, summarizing the story, showing images of the real events as you are narrating. Or you do it in a scrapbook form. I had a really cool one on The Book Thief, like this. Really cool. You could do it in that form. At least 250 of your own words and 2 pictures for each story, historical pictures. And yeah, so that's another option. Military history. Oh, I get some cool ones for these. If you are way into battles, you guys, choose an operation. It could be something in the Pacific. It could be something in the European theater. There's really almost 2 different wars going on at the same time. D-Day's one that I think I get a lot of great ones from. Battle of the Bulge. I've had some really good ones. Midway, Iwo Jima. A little tougher because there's a lot of water involved, but you can still do them. So you want to pick a battle. You want to explain the background of each. What's the purpose of this battle? Okay? You want to create a 3D map with things that you can find in your backyard. Usually make the coolest ones. Do not go out there and spend $1 million. Okay? That's not the purpose of this. You can make a really, really cool one with some sand from the beach, stuff in your backyard, right? Pro tip. I had a student once who did a battle involving a river, and they used dried rubber cement. It looked really cool and very realistic. So get a little creative here and, think about how can I show this battle? Then in 150 words, I reduced the words because you got a little more, creativity you're doing. Label your battle so we can look at it and we can see what happened. So maybe over here you have 25 words. Maybe over here you have like 30, you're explaining, well, here are the German troops. Here's what they're doing. They're trying to stop the Allied forces from advancing on the beach. So we should look at this and be able to tell exactly what's going on in this battle from your 3D thing that you create, okay? A box is like, a really good one to use because it's easier to transport. I've had people use like big plastic tubs. I had somebody do a really cool one on the Battle of the Bulge because that's a winter battle. They had like a can of white spray paint and they got some, evergreen branches from their backyard and they really made it look realistic. So the best ones, I'm telling you, are things you find in your backyard. So think about that. That's a really cool option. Could be one, especially if you're really into battles. Choice 5, upstanders. Remember, when we're seeing what I call hard history, things that are not easy or fun to look at, I think it's always good to look for the people who do the right thing. So this project is really dedicated to those people who did the right thing. Those are upstanders. They embrace the challenge to speak out, do the right thing, make decisions to make positive change. We talked about how every single one of us has the potential to be an upstander. Okay? So what you're going to do, if you want to do this one, is research at least 3 upstanders during the Holocaust or an act involving them. I have information to help you. Here's some information. Kindertransport, the courageous town of Les Chambon, the protest of Rosenstrasse, the story of Stefan Dworak, the story of Oskar Schindler, the story of Marion Pritchard, the actions of the entire nation of Denmark are pretty awesome, or the French resistance. So you would pick any 3 of these and create something. Okay, what is it? Same thing in the other ones. Some kind of a documentary. Okay, you're going to tell the story. For each story, you want to address these things. You want to have some pictures, right, of what's really happening. That's what you really want to do. So this one, it really works better if you do make a WWII video or something that we can watch. It's going to be a much better way to do it. If you have another idea of how you'd like to present that, I'm open to it. Run it by me. But I really would prefer some kind of a documentary style where you're really showing us the bravery of any 3 of these particular events. There's others too, so you're not limited to this. If you have one that, it's close to your heart or your family or something, please feel free to run it by me. I'm just saying I have information on these that you can use. All right, let's take a look at the rubric. All right, Mrs. Zimnick, what do I need to do? How do I ace this thing? Here it is. No secrets. I'm being very upfront. A, projects. It is plain to see a great deal of time and effort have gone into this project. We can look at it and we can tell you put some time into this. You've got attention paid to detail. History is realistically shown through the images this project presents. You've got real images from history of actual things happening. You've got, your take on it, whether it's an interview or a movie. Not only did you meet the guidelines, you have exceeded the guidelines. So the guidelines say 250 words. You've got more. The guidelines say 2 pictures. You've got more. Okay, you go above and beyond. This is 3 weeks of work, guys. Three weeks of work. To get an A, it needs to look like you spent some time on it. You should really be an expert on this. There's not spelling or grammatical errors. It's neat, creative, and professional looking. You are an expert. You've mastered your topic. That's an A. Okay? What's a B? Still good. But there might be some minor details that are missing, or a few little errors. It's neat and creative. It's not quite as professional looking. Maybe it's a little sloppy here or there. Could have been a little more professional looking. You still understand it. You've met the guidelines. That's a B. C. Basic requirements are met, but there might be some pretty big errors. You really mixed up an important date. You got several spelling and grammatical errors in here. It's not clear how much time you put in. So if you did spend a lot of time, we can't tell. Okay? So, I've had some people that are like, but I really did spend time. And I'm like, we can't tell, I see tape everywhere. I see smudge marks all over the place. So again, it's 50 points. It's 3 weeks of work that's put into this. We got to be able to tell. You understand most of the material, but you could have made a few more connections to the past or the present. D, now here we get into the problem areas. You're lacking effort. You got some serious errors. You couldn't explain your project. I'm asking you questions. Tell me about that movie scene. How does that relate to history? And you give me a blank stare. That's where I can't tell that you know it. That's a problem. F, honestly, guys, if this happens, I'm going to make you redo it. I'm not going to let you turn that in and accept it. That just means you didn't do what you were supposed to do. You got little to no effort. You got major errors. You haven't mastered it. That's not acceptable to me. I'm not letting you take that. Okay? So if for some reason you fall into that category, know that I'm going to make you add some more to get at least up to the C. There's really no excuse for these last 2. There's really not. I'm not going to take it. All right? I'm going to make you redo it because you can do better than that. So that's what we've got. This should be something you kind of enjoy. All right? If you have questions, please let me know. I'm more than happy to help you out, give you some sources, take a look at your rough draft. But these are going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you pay attention to the due date. I'm going to keep kind of giving you a heads up. Hey, we got 2 weeks left. Hey, we got 1 week left. But have a little fun with it. Dive in. Learn about this fascinating period in our history.